When your money can't buy anything, what will you do? You came here for the truth. Yes, that's the question I pose. When you've got your cash, your savings, and it can't buy a single thing, what will you do? Most people will panic. And that's what the message of today is all about. The first thing I want to look at is the economic crisis that is unfolding. The second is to look at insiders selling. I told you it was $69 billion worth in 2021. In fact, it's many multiples higher. You stay tuned, you're going to get that information. And the third thing is China's hold. They've got a hold on something very important to the global economy, and we're going to get into that and so much more. Let's begin. I thought this would be the best article to start off with. This is talking about Turkey, their crisis that they are dealing with today. Turkey's economic turmoil sends desperation and inflation soaring. The president pushes lower interest rates as currency plunges. Quote, everyone here is outraged. You see these people? Their money doesn't buy anything. Okay, sure, it can buy some stuff, but the value is dropping so fast, people are upset. And understand that this is coming for your currency. You can't see it day by day when it happens slowly, but I assure you, it is a phenomenon going on globally today. The IMF urged advanced economies in the G20 to extend and improve their debt relief initiative, warning that many countries face a dire crisis without the help. That's right. Quote, they used economic collapse in their wording. Remember, when I use the word collapse, I'm quoting, in this case here, the IMF. Now, they're basically trying to get governments around the world to pump in more money, more stimulus, more deficits, and more debt. But the point is the same. Warning about this economic collapse comes from all different levels. We have the food prices that are rising significantly today, and there's no doubt that this hurts people, particularly in the bottom 50%, more so than anyone else. And you could look around. I mean, certain things are up more than others, but the point remains the same. It's that food and energy prices, which we'll talk about more in a second, are rising too fast. You could say, whoa, wages are up when you look at that stat or this stat. Doesn't apply to everyone, but you have to understand that they're just rising too fast. The food prices, energy prices, and so on. Too fast. People can't keep up. And when they can't keep up, they take to the streets. Look at this. Netherlands, natural gas, forward 1 month. So we're looking at the futures essentially for natural gas. And while we have come off the peak, it is still way, way up, going all the way back from 2007 up until the present. Look, it's been trading in a range here and there, and then suddenly it rises uncontrollably. And this is worrisome. My friends, I know I have many friends in California. You must understand what's happening here. California will curtail water to farms and cities next year as drought worsens. State says only water for health and safety can be supplied. California is the nation's largest agricultural producer. A lot of money is produced in California. They do give out the details in here, which you may be aware of already, but it's $49 billion of sales in 2020. Very significant if you ask me. I am keeping a close eye on what happens here, but this is detrimental. When we're talking about the foods, we're not talking about iPhones. We're not talking about the latest laptops. We are talking about food. And if this affects the farmers, what happens to the food prices? Food prices rising. Not a good thing. You could see here specifically what's happening with the drought. This is as of Thursday, December 2nd. Just giving you an idea. I didn't think there was a higher level than extreme, but apparently, according to this, there is, and it's exceptional drought. This entire region here showing exceptional drought at this time. No question that this will be affecting people, not just in this area. Remember, if this area is exporting, and they can't get the water they need, and they can't get the resources they need, and their input costs are higher, this is going to have an impact on everybody else. Not good. This is why I tell everybody, one of the most important things is that if a certain number of people started growing a garden, and no, you live in a cold environment, you can't grow a garden, you say, check out the channel, 1 Yard Revolution. All right. ISM Services PMI has hit a record high. This chart goes back to 97 up until the present. Haven't seen anything like this before. Services are rising considerably. At this time, input costs are higher. You've got, even no matter what, you look at physical goods, but also, when you look at the services as well, everything's rising. And it just shows us that we are in a strange time. Procter & Gamble, Eli Lilly, Unilever, just name the company, Heinz, everybody, all of the big boys, the conglomerates, they're all saying, we have increased our prices and we're going to do it again, and we probably have to do it again later on. It's happening. It's happening right before our very eyes. Do these companies bring down the price? Really? Really? Do you know a lot of things that you go to the store, the grocery store, and so on, that you buy that are less than they were 5 years ago? Not too often. There's some anomalies, but not too often, okay? And I think it's important to address all that. Now, I want to switch gears. I told you that there was $69 billion worth of insider sales that were happening in 2021 so far. The year's not over. It will accelerate, of course, towards the end of the year somewhat, but that wasn't real, apparently, because you look at the details, unbelievably, it has gone much, much higher. Look, 2021 insider sales have hit $385 billion, already well surpassing the prior record way back in 2013. Huge. Just take a look. On a monthly basis for November, we have crossed $50 billion in aggregate sales for the first time. And can you see a trend here? As the stock market's been rising, insider sales have been picking up, on average, at least here since this time frame, depending on how you want to look at that. Doesn't matter. Record high right now. And essentially they talk about how they came to this conclusion, how they got all those details. And unbelievably, we've never seen anything like this before. What are they selling for? Yeah, Elon Musk. Here he is. He's selling a bunch. He said he would sell 10% of his stock. He's doing that. Almost there. He's got 10 million shares out of 17 million that he needs to sell. Depending on the stock price, I guess, at the time. I don't know how he's going to manage that, but regardless, that's only some of it. It's really only some of it. I think something else is going on. Look at this, the Hindenburg Omen, an indicator I've covered many times before. It triggered back in February timeframe, 2020, triggered again recently. Now, because the Hindenburg Omen went off and signaled, does that mean it's going to be a crisis tomorrow? No. What it tells you is we've reached very lofty levels. And so those insiders, they're the ones who are aware of this more so than anybody else, and they could sell into that much faster than the retail traders, who, by the way, are buying at a record pace right now, as of, I believe, last week. Then we have this. NASDAQ, new 52-week highs and lows. Not good, because while you have approximately 5 stocks carrying the NASDAQ, I think I have that right here. This is Bitcoin. We're going to talk about that in a separate video. But you can see the NASDAQ right here. Overall, compared to its peers, it has done well, but not done so good over the last few weeks, or last month, actually. And you just see that. Just compare this to the Russell and the Dow and the S&P, all of the four majors are right here. It is quite significant to see that at this time. Interesting to say the least. New 52-week lows accelerating here. But it's done better against its peers. Why? Because a few stocks are carrying it to the top. And we have this: Bitcoin's correlation with stocks grows as risk appetite drops. As I showed you just briefly there, Bitcoin getting pounded as I record this video, and then we go on a little further onto the shorter time frames, it is coming up. But taking a look here, many people have said that, oh, no, you're looking at the correlation between, let's say, the US stock market and Bitcoin, or the S&P 500 and Bitcoin. That's wrong. You should be looking at against the US dollar because it's a currency or it's a store of value and so on. But the correlation is clearly there, and you could see this article as just one of many that breaks it down. I've talked about this subject before, and my subscribers pointed out something that I found interesting. RV shipments expected to top 600,000 units this year and next. Huge. We've never seen anything like this, as they say here in this quote. And initially, 2020, there was literally a shortage where people were trying to go on vacation because they couldn't leave. So they were getting RVs and kind of doing them traveling and so on. And while I'm sure to some degree that is happening, however, my subscribers pointed out the fact that you can live in an RV. You can live in an RV. So it could become travel, it could also become a place to live. And many people in a situation today of economic hardship, when their money doesn't buy anything, are now living in their vehicles, living in their RVs, and simply living a different lifestyle for some. Let me know what you think about this. Put it in the comments below. I want to know your thoughts. And then we have this. China's hold. They're set to create a new state-owned rare earth giant. The move, expected to be announced this month, would aim to strengthen China's dominance in the global supply chain around the strategic metals. China's rare earth mining is like basically all of it is done in China, not the actual resources themselves, but the mining. Almost all of it comes from China, and they are even going to extend it even further. Does that mean that they don't want any private entities to have any control over that because they plan on doing something with it? Are they simply going to restrict it? Are they going to put tariffs on it? We don't know. It's all speculation. But I do think that it's interesting. If you think this topic is interesting as well, give me that thumbs up to let me know. If you appreciate the information, as always, you can hit the like button. It's right down below. And that essentially notifies people out there about the Money GPS. Okay, it helps the recommendations and the algorithm system. So I do appreciate that very much. If you aren't already, you got to be a subscriber because I produce content every single day. Okay, no matter what's going on in my life, I'm producing videos for you. And I've been doing so for 10 years now. It has officially been 10 years, believe it or not. So I want to thank you for being here. If you haven't seen this video yet, you definitely want to check it out. So just click it and I'll see you there.